Welcome to Aromatic Chat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, my mom sits down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use essential oils in their lives and businesses. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and my mom, Melissa, is your host. She is a master transformational coach and a registered aromatherapist.
Hey friends, can I get a what? Welcome to podcast episode number 75, Aromatic Chat with Nikki Fraser of the Essentria Aromatherapy School. I cannot tell a lie. I truly enjoyed spending time chatting with Nikki and getting to know her and hearing her aromatic journey. Guys, you do not want to fast forward, speed up, or skip this one. Nikki is a clinical aromatherapist, and in addition to running her aromatherapy school, she runs her own holistic practice incorporating a variety of modalities. And she was named one of the most influential people in aromatherapy in 2022. There is a lot more to Nikki, and I do not want to share it all in the intro, so let's get started. Nikki, I am so glad to have you on to Aromatic Chat, and I've just enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. And I can't wait to hear your story, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I've been so excited. I've loved this podcast for a while, so I feel very, very excited and honored to be on it with you.
Oh, thank you. I love that kind of feedback. I know you have your own podcast. Do you get feedback from your listeners at all? Or, I mean, this may not end up in the show, but
yeah, every now and then we get, especially some of our students, they'll message us, especially there, or we've had a few comments of people in our private Facebook group being like, oh, that was a great episode, or things like that, which is really, really nice. Love seeing that feedback.
That's amazing. So a private Facebook group for your podcast or for school?
For anyone who's interested in aromatherapy, love essential oils with Essentria. And it's open to absolutely anyone, everyone. We post tips, tricks, blends, all kinds of stuff in there on safe use of aromatherapy.
That's amazing. That's a really great idea to have a private Facebook group for things like that.
There's so many out there, and we've all been in them, I feel, at one point or another. But even some of them where they're fear-mongering a lot of the times. And it's just like some things are unsafe and some things are almost like, I want to say too safe, where it's just like you're just throwing out random facts without explaining things behind it. So it's just, and then you just people getting the fear of even wanting to use essential oils. Yeah. So,
well, I almost feel like we don't speak the same language as the people who are wanting the information.
Yes.
And I think that's a disconnect that a lot of people struggle with, not just aromatherapists, but you go and you get this education, you now speak a different language.
Yes.
And taking it back to just everyday language and being able to speak to the people who want the information, but do not understand the words we say.
Right. And who don't want to be certified or don't want to dive into whatever, just a normal layperson who wants to get some of the information, but not spend 475 hours to be certified. Right. Like we need to bridge that gap more on,
I agree.
On it.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. And just about anything, right?
Yeah.
You might enjoy listening to podcasts, but you might not want to go the full, 9 yards and actually create a podcast. It's
right.
the same thing, aromatherapy, podcasting, anything really. Yeah. Oh, that's great. So I'm just going to go all over the place today, I have a feeling, but the first thing I want to do is hear your story. Like, how did you get to this place? I mean, goodness, you've got your own private practice and you have an aromatherapy school. So
yes,
how did you get here?
So I'll start with my story and how I got into aromatherapy. So I was pregnant at the time with my second. I was on the cusp of first trimester, second trimester. And so my oldest was probably around 9 months, something like that. I don't know, actually less than that, maybe. About that. And I had a horrible cold. I didn't have a doctor at the time. My family doctor was still back in my hometown. I had moved just over an hour away, and where we bought our house, all that. And so I went to a walk-in clinic, and the doctor looked at me and he goes, "You absolutely should be on antibiotics. However, it is not worth the risk of being sued in case something happens to you with the pregnancy. So go home and rest." And I looked at him and I laughed and I said, "That's not happening with an 8, 9 month old at home. Like, that's just not going to happen." So I went home. A friend of mine had said, "Hey, I know someone who is going to be, talking about essential oils in a couple of days. Do you want to go to it?" I'm like, "Sure." I had learned about them as a school counselor. I had a book of holistic remedies, or holistic things that parents could look at when they didn't want to medicate their children, which I was all for. Great. So here are some things to do, but I had never used them myself. So I did a little bit of research, and I just thought they were nice, smelly things at that point. And then when I went to the class, I made a roller bottle for cough, congestion. There was sleep, and then a study blend for my husband because he was in school at the time. But so those three. So after that day, at night, I used the three of them. And that was the first time that I had slept through the night. And I didn't even know how long. I could breathe. I didn't wake up coughing at any point. So if I did cough, it wasn't enough to wake me up. It was just glorious. I mean, I woke up for my son, but, pregnancy wise and breathing and cold wise, it was fantastic. I was like, these are miracle bottles, and I need to learn more about these. So I started to use essential oils at that point. But then I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm also very big into research and knowing why. I need to know the why. I love to know the why. So then I was like, I'm going to just rein it back a little bit. And I want to make sure these are safe for baby also. Safe for my oldest, and then safe for baby and me. So I stopped and I started to dive in, and then I started to look at getting certified at that point. So, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then as I was getting certified, I met my two partners while we were studying together, and further on down the road, we missed each other's company and decided to open a school. So it kind of just, it all snowballed in together.
So you came from an education background into aromatherapy.
I was a counselor. So I'm a child and youth care worker and addiction counselor in my corporate days. That's what I was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you were working in the public system? The school
yeah.
system?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the French school systems. Yeah.
Okay. So you were in the education you brought.
Yes.
Yeah. You were in the education system, even though you weren't an educator.
Yes. Yes. We weren't allowed to talk about anything holistic though.
Oh, that's sad.
At all. Yeah. I got my hand slapped for recommending parents to go to naturopaths and things, and anyone holistic. I literally was reprimanded for it.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So that's when I knew I needed to leave the school board.
Yeah. So you walked away. That's in the past. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So now I just focus on my home business and the online school.
So tell us about your home business.
Yeah, it's called Fraser Holistic Health, and I offer aromatherapy, aroma massage, and then a few other massages: lymphatic massage, Indian head massage, also Reiki, registered reflexologist as well. And I'm also trained as a doula. I work a lot with pregnant people and children. Those are, and venturing more to just women's health in general now, but I'll always have a soft place for pregnancy and children. It's my love. And then I work a lot with surrogates also. I'm a 2-time surrogate. So working with surros is a huge passion of mine, really.
So I really feel like we probably need to backpedal a little bit, because you were in the corporate world as a counselor, but you have all these certifications. When did all of these certifications come in?
Slowly. Aromatherapy was my gateway drug. That's what I say. And my husband, I feel like he's just now trapped with this super hippie person who just continues to take new courses. And he laughs. He's fully supportive, which I absolutely love. He's never once questioned supporting me by any means. And he's always allowed me, when I said, I'm going to leave the school board and just focus on home business, he was fully supportive, which was amazing. But yeah, as I was working full time, I was always taking other courses.
That's amazing. That is one of the things that I found in my Aromatic Chat interviews is the majority of aromatherapists, we don't just go to school for aromatherapy. It is a gateway drug. It's like
Right?
the thing that leads you into this holistic lifestyle. And then you're like, wait a second now.
Right? You're hooked. I'm like,
There's,
and I'm
but wait,
constantly
there's
hearing.
more.
I know. Right now, I'm diving into sound therapy. So I think that might be something I might dive deeper in soon. Who knows? But yeah, I'm constantly learning and absorbing. And yeah, I'm a lifelong student. I love it.
That's amazing. So you do have your private practice running out of fully out of your home. Like you don't have a
Yeah.
place you go to. People come to you in your home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a dedicated space I'm in right now. That's specifically just for me, clients, my work. And
Okay.
so,
Do you
yeah.
only work with people locally, or is because you did mention Reiki, and I know that can be done distance. Do you
Yeah.
also do distance healing as well?
Yes, yes. So anyone for certain things, like I was doing a little bit of reflexology through distance, when I wasn't allowed in person, but it's just not the same to, walk someone through doing that yourself. It's not the same thing. Good in a pinch, but not long term. But the
I
Reiki
feel
is
yes,
definitely,
I agree with
yeah,
that. It is good in a pinch. Listeners, if you've never had a reflexology treatment, find someone. Just
yeah,
find a reflexologist and go. You'll be so surprised. So
right,
surprised.
right. They're so amazing. I know, especially when pregnant. Oh, I find when I get them pregnant, it's just 10 times better, even more so.
Well, yeah, because our systems are really jacked up when we're pregnant. I mean,
Right? And it
we're
just
hyped up, we're hyped up, and we're jacked up all at the same time.
yeah, and it just brings that balance so much more.
It
And
really
then
does.
when we
And
combine it with aromatherapy,
mhm,
it's just like that extra layer of
mhm,
balance and peace, tranquility, all of it together.
right.
And so,
Yeah. And
yeah.
you were gonna, I'm sorry, I cut you off and you were gonna say
No.
Reiki.
Oh yeah, and Reiki though is absolutely can be worldwide. Distance Reiki is amazing. Actually, even when people are here in person, I don't do a hands-on Reiki, so it's still technically a distance Reiki that I'm doing in even when they come to me in person.
Mhm.
I just find it's easier to do hands off. A lot of people don't like being touched. I'll typically start with hands on the head, like when I get to head and feet, but
Mhm.
otherwise it's hands off. So
So I do think that most of the people who listen to Aromatic Chat are in this space of holism, but would you be willing to just explain Reiki for those who might not
mm.
even have a clue what it is?
I always have a hard time explaining it so that people understand because I have this image in my head. I bring white light in. I bring universal energy into the body. I help rebalance the body. I often look at chakras if there's any chakras blocked, and I just help rebalance, remove stagnant energy, anything that's disruptive. I often get messages while I'm doing it, so I give those messages at the end to clients as well. I'll sometimes use a pendulum in my Reiki sessions, or oils that I'll have. And when I'm doing a distance Reiki, I actually have a giant doll, I'll call it for lack of a better word, that I made myself when I was making videos for a massage course that we were teaching. So
Mhm.
it's a life-size body. And I have that on my bed that I use, and I do the Reiki to the surrogate on the bed, for distance Reiki. So, and because it's energy medicine, it can go through time and space, and the person doesn't need to be right there in front of me, which is really nice. I connect with their higher power, and all of that. So,
So
yeah.
I love that you said your surrogate client.
Yes. My
You
surrogate client.
mentioned the
I have,
surrogacy earlier.
mm,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I'm a two-time surrogate.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That is amazing. What a gift to be able to
Thank
give to
you.
someone. It
It's
really,
it's I think it's cool. I don't t- I'm s- I think I'm so entrenched into the world of it that to me I'm like it's normal. Uh, but I know it's not, and I have to remind myself of that
I
most
know
people
so
don't look at it as normal.
I know so many people. It's not that it's abnormal. I think it's a beautiful gift. I think it's a beautiful gift because I know several people who have struggled or are struggling with
Mm.
infertility.
Oh yeah, it's
And
prevalent. It's so high.
it's really high now. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it's we hear more about it because we're so connected or if it's more prevalent.
And I truly believe it's more prevalent.
Oh,
Just our world is the most toxic time it's ever going to be, and it's just going to keep getting worse. There's so many hormone disruptors out there, and different things causing infertility in men and women,
yes.
both. Like it takes two to tango, and it takes two for the fertility, and it affects both partners equally.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know about equally, but it affects both
it
participants
does.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many things, and I truly feel it's just going to get worse. Even from when I started, I think the average surrogate to intended parents was about one surrogate for every 4 to 5 intended parents. And in the almost 7 years that I've been part of the surrogate world, it is now one in every 10. So there's one surrogate for every 10 parents that are looking for a surrogate. That's for
Wow.
in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So it's
that's heart it's heartbreaking for me.
it is. It is. And I'm done having babies now. I'm done. I've had 4 babies, 2 keepers, 2 surros. And but every like you just see the profiles and you see the want and you see the love. And it's just like, oh, if only like one more. But I'm like, no, like I'm done. I'm done. So I
And
love
there's
being pregnant. I love giving birth. Like honestly, I'm and so my first wasn't, I had a few hiccups. I had a doctor. It didn't go as planned. But as soon as I had my midwife for my second and everything went as I wanted it to go without interventions, pregnancy and birth are my favorite things. Honestly, I could birth every day. I love birthing. So I'm one of those weird people.
well, but that explains why the doula and being able to
Yeah,
work in the field that you're in because you do love it. That's
I
amazing.
do. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And seriously, I'm just going to say it one more time. What a gift. What a
Thank you.
gift you have given to people who didn't think they would ever be able to hold that baby. So
Mhm.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
So tell us what is the most common problem that people come to you and seeking your special brand of holism?
A lot of times it's either if I in the aromatherapy world, it's support with kids.
Hmm.
What do I do? They're not sleeping. They're congested. They're sick. How do I stay healthy? School's kind. It's all about the kids. And I think because I work with so many parents, and then they forget about themselves. And then eventually it's like, oh yeah, well, I had this or this. And it's like, well, I can do stuff for you too, but let's work on the kids. Let's focus on the kids. And if you want, we can focus on you too. So I sometimes have to remind, especially the moms of like, think of you too. But it's just all kinds of kids things. It's really the biggest focus. And I mean,
Okay.
I think that's pretty normal for parents to put their kids first. And I find that is when a lot of times parents start to look at, oh, like what's in products. Maybe I shouldn't reach for the over the counter pain reliever every
Mhm.
single day that I'm give to my child. So they're looking for like, what can I give for teething? What can I give for growing pains? All of those things. So
And
nothing
as
specific, but
yeah, and as parents, I mean, we'll go out of our we'll throw a caution to the wind for our kids,
yeah.
and then we'll go to the McDonald's drive-through and get a Big Mac. My kids have to
Yes.
have the perfect lunch, but I'm gonna go throw some junk into my body, and
Yeah.
we all. I don't know of any parent that hasn't done that
Right.
at least
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Not necessarily McDonald's, but you know what I mean. So
Oh, absolutely. Where it's like, no, you need to eat your broccoli. You need to do this. You need to do that. And then after supper, I'm hiding in the bathroom with like, just give me I got these little, what were they? These little caramel, it was
yeah.
organic quinoa and caramel and something from Costco, little balls. And I was like hiding in my bathroom a few weeks ago, just popping a few after supper. I was just like, I just need 10 minutes of sweetness to just bring me back down.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, you guys go eat your vegetables. Just give me these few little sweet pops.
Yeah, we've all done it. We've all done it.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about your school.
yeah. So I have an online school. Essentria Aromatherapy School is the name of it. I have two business partners, Rhonda Greenberry and Rachel Dean. We are all over Ontario, the three of us. And I mentioned quickly at the beginning, we met while we were studying ourselves, and we missed each other's company. So we decided to open a school. We found that there was just certain things lacking that we didn't have. We wanted more information on, and we just found we wanted to fill a hole in the Canadian education aspect of aromatherapy. So we developed right from the beginning. We've always been online. Our motto is, we're here for the busy person to go around your unique schedule. We want to empower people to use aromatherapy safely, and recognizing that not everyone can meet live every week at the same time. We have students all over the world, and so especially different time zones, that's not going to work.
Right.
So we really designed it for that in mind. And then we have our clinical aromatherapy course, which is 475 hours. And then we have a foundations course, which is recognized with NAHA for 50 hours. And then we have aroma massage. We're actually coming out with an Indian head massage. This is the first time we've ever mentioned it. But by the time this airs, it'll actually be live. We have a bunch of like mini courses. So aromatherapy and pregnancy, aromatherapy and kids, all kinds of things for the people who don't want to be aromatherapists, but want to learn how to use aromatherapy safely. So we developed all these nice, quick hour and a half mini courses that just go over a few, how to use them safely for a specific condition. And there you go.
So those would be just like general information for anybody who's interested, not necessarily continuing education for aromatherapists.
Well, some of them are like the pregnancy, like all of them count towards continuing education credits. Absolutely. And like the pregnancy and aromatherapy, I dive deeper in like the research behind some of the oils for the different aspects of pregnancy. Same with kids. So there's more research into that. So you can be an aromatherapist who wants to dive a little bit deeper. And then, if you just want to use essential oils at home with your kids, this is a great way to learn how to use them safely.
Yeah. And your full certification is a clinical aromatherapy certification.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 475 hours. It's recognized with both the CFA, the Canadian Federation of Aromatherapists, and with NAHA.
So I have found aromatherapists to be some of the most interesting people. Because we all had lives before we became aromatherapists. And I'm just curious, like, what are some of your other passions?
Reading is a big passion of mine. I've always been into mystery books. And in the last few years, when things kind of going south in my corporate job and things like that, I started to get into like old English books. I love the old 1800s, 1700s lifestyle. A lot of days I wish we could go back to no technology, no phones. Riding, I'll ride a horse around, like just to detach, right? Get away from the EMFs, get away from technology, and just be in the moment. There's a lot of things I don't like about that time frame, but a lot of times I just love losing myself in the book and imagining what it would be like to be that detached. And we remember what it was like to not have phones growing up, and you didn't need to be attached to everything.
Right. Yes. We had phones that were attached to the wall.
Right.
With a cord.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it was awesome when you had that 20-30 foot cord that always tangled into a bunch of nothing. And that was like the distance that you could walk. If, past that, you were cut out. Like that's it.
And then for fun, I would sit and untangle the cord.
Yes. Oh, it would drive me insane. I would try to
get it wired, going back the right way.
Yeah. Which would take hours, and then within 20 minutes, it would just be back to how it was.
It's terrible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
tell us a story about how you have helped a friend or a family member or a client using your skills. And if you want to just focus on the aromatherapy part, that's fine. If you need to bring in some of your other modalities, that's cool.
Honestly, the biggest one is helping surrogates. All surrogates have to do either injections or suppositories. A lot choose the injections because you have to simulate hormones of being pregnant before you actually transfer the embryo into you. So doing that, you have to do a shot just on like your upper butt, is pretty much the best place to do it, once a day for 12 weeks, which can be very tender. So in my first journey, I developed a formula, a roller bottle to put over the injection site, because you can get a lump that is like cement.
Yeah.
And your skin gets leather tough, and it's like, if you're not positioned at the exact spot, and even if you are, like, it's every day. So, and even switching from one butt cheek to the other, like, then you just have both sides that are in pain. So I have a roller bottle that I developed specifically for progesterone and oil injections that I ship to circuits all over Canada. And honestly, it's so not one specific person. I know you asked one specific, but this is like my biggest thing, because I just see what the servers go through, and having experienced that the daily injections, they can hurt. So that is my biggest like moment of when I see the surrogates who are always like, thank you, Nikki, for this. They're like, my butt hurts. Send me a roller, please. And like, I express post it. And within 3-4 days, they're like, all right, the lumps have broken up, the pain's receding, and they can continue their injections without cringing every single day.
Leads me to another question. In my head, I'm thinking, what about like diabetics? Because they experience the same type of injury in their body from multiple injections. I know a lot of diabetics are moving to the pump and everything, but some still have to use a hypodermic.
It probably could, because it helps with like bruising also, because some people need to do injections on their belly with Fragmin for infertility. So I know it helps with that as well. But it's just with the progesterone and oil, because it's in a castor oil, a lot of times there's a few other oils too, but that's the thickest one. Like, it is literally like you're injecting, I mean, most people know how thick castor oil is. Like, you're injecting cement into you. Doesn't matter how much you warm it up. It's like that thick ball, where I find like people who are diabetic don't have that aspect of it. They have the bruising, the tenderness, but they don't get a physical lump like a lot of servers do.
That's 84 shots, y'all. 84 shots in the same area, day after day after day.
Yeah. You have 2 spots, one on each upper butt, and it's like, about the size, bit bigger than it's bigger than a toonie. Like, you've got a few inch square, but it's not a lot of space to move around that little needle.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh
yeah.
Ooh. Well, thank you for providing relief. Women who are doing amazing work and bringing life to people who desperately want to have children. So thank you for that.
That's just it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
My Indian head massage course. It's been something that I've been offering clients for a while now. I love it. It's one of my most popular services for people to come in and want to get. It's so relaxing to get and to give. I think it's one of my most favorite things to give also. I love aroma massage. I love my reflexology, but honestly, like, the blend of essential oils that I use, and just the massaging on the head. And then I do a little bit of arms and upper back too, but we don't massage our scalp enough. We don't massage our head. And then the face itself, like, people just don't give enough love to our face and our head. So it's relaxing to give, to just play with someone's hair realistically. And then it's so relaxing to get to. So we're developing Indian head massage course for the school right now.
Amazing.
So that's what I'm super excited and passionate about right now.
Yeah. What's the one thing that when women go to a salon that they want? What's the one thing?
Right. Oh yeah. It's just play with the hair while you're
Can you just
doing
massage
whatever.
it just a little bit more while you're washing? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I had one client, he came in, he's just like, oh yeah, if you can just massage my head. He's like, I go to a hairdresser just to get the massage. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I don't have enough hair to cut. And he didn't. He's like, I just want the head massage.
So how can people find you if they're interested either in the school or coming to you as a client?
I mean, email Nikki at fraserholistichealth.com or the website fraserholistichealth.com for personal practice. And then the school is Essentria, schoolofessentria.com or info@schoolofessentria.com. So, I mean, super simple.
And how
And we're
about
on
social?
Instagram, Facebook, yeah, YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel also for the school. Everything is Instagram is School of Essentria. Everything else is Essentria, pretty much just Essentria or Essentria Aromatherapy School.
Okay.
But so yeah, we're pretty easy to find. We're all over.
Excellent. And I know that you had a gift that you wanted to give to the listeners. What can you tell us
Yes.
about your gift?
Yeah, so I do hypnosis, NLP, because I've developed a mindful birth program for pregnant people to go through. I read a lot of different meditations, guided meditations. So rewrote a specific guided meditation to help with grounding and stress. And we developed a couple of blends through dowsing. Putting out the attentions on, what would be a best blend for the maximum amount of people. So there's two different blends, one for grounding and one for stress, just to calm the mind. So you get the meditation and the two blends. And if you can download it for free at www.schoolofessentria.com/meditation.
Wow. And I will definitely include that link in the show notes so that people don't have to remember that. I know I listen to podcasts and I'm like, wait a second, let me get a pencil. It's in the show notes. Well, it's in the
I just
show.
like when I'm running, I'm always like, oh, I need to remember that. I'm like, please be in the show notes later.
It will definitely be in the
it's
show notes.
awesome. Yeah, it's a 15-minute meditation that can be listened at any time of day. So
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. And as we close out our time together, I always just love to hand the floor over to my guests for anything that maybe we didn't cover that you feel like we should have, or if you have just something that you need to let them know.
one thing I always like to remind people is, and I said this a while ago and someone quoted me on it and I thought it was great, is that essential oils won't change natural habits. So we have to remember that as much as we love our aromatherapy and any holistic modalities, we always have to know what the root cause is. And because I work with a lot of young kids, parents, sleep is a big one where they're like, what can I do to get my child to sleep? Well, your 6-month-olds are still supposed to wake up through the night, and that's okay. So are 12-month-olds, and that's okay. So like this is natural, and we can't do anything to change natural either. So I always like to remind people of, they're great supports, but they won't change our natural habits.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's so true. And if we want to change our habits, it's not going to come from a pill. It's not going to come from a bottle. It's not going to come from a beautiful aromatic. It's work that we have to put in. Dang it.
It is. It is. We have to put the work in. And sometimes we have to grow into it. Like children, we have to let the children grow into the space. For us, if we want to change our sleeping habits, well, what are we doing? It's not the oil that's always going to allow us to, it'll help.
Right.
But if we're on our phone until midnight, well, maybe we should change that habit.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming on to Aromatic Chat. I've appreciated getting to know you. I love what you're doing in the world. I love that anybody can come to the school. It's not just for Canadians. It's for anyone. I love, COVID, everybody says COVID's terrible, but it's done beautiful things in bringing the internet to this place where we can come together from all over the world and participate. And I love the fact that you were already doing that beforehand. So you guys were primed, you were ready. It wasn't a shift for you. And I love that. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me. I am honored to have been on and I've loved this time. Absolutely. Hopefully we can meet again and chat again more in the future.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you so much. Guys, I hope you heard what Nikki said there at the end. An essential oil won't change a natural habit. Neither will an herbal remedy or a pill. I think this is something worth remembering. In this day and age, we want the quick fix for just about everything. If you're sick, you take medicine. If you can't sleep, you chug NyQuil. If you can't go number 2, you take a laxative, and the list goes on and on. As a coach and registered aromatherapist, when I work with a client, I'm looking at the whole person and trying to get to the root cause of whatever they've brought to me. I ask questions, and I help you dig deep. Sometimes I send you on your way with recommendations and referrals to other practitioners and even to your medical doctor. It's so important for everyone to stay within their scope of practice. I am not a medical doctor and I don't play one on television. I'm an aromatherapist. I'm not a therapist. I didn't go to school for psychology. I am a coach. They are similar, but they're not the same. Medical doctors diagnose and prescribe, and aromatherapist educates you to take charge of your own health and teaches you ways to care for your own mind, body, and spirit. Therapists help you figure out why you're struggling. A coach helps you learn how to overcome and transform those struggles. They're similar, but they're not the same. I hope you've enjoyed this episode with Nikki Fraser, and I encourage you to check out her podcast, Vetiver Vibes. Y'all, I love the name of her podcast. Vetiver is my absolute number 1 all-time favorite essential oil. So Vetiver Vibes, hello. I'll include all of the links mentioned in today's episode in the show notes. If you're a new listener, I want to thank you for tuning in. This is the 3rd year of Aromatic Chat, and there are lots of episodes to check out. If you're one of my longtime listeners, I just want to say thank you for coming back episode after episode to hear from these amazing aromatherapists. Did you know that over at buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat, you can access some of the content from my aromatic chats that don't make it into the final show? There are also meditations, and you have early access to the episodes for all Aromatic Chat members. Simply head over to buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat. That's buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat. And you don't have to become a member. You could just simply buy me a coffee to support the show. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching. You can connect with me, your master transformational coach and registered aromatherapist, on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com. I would love to read your reviews. Reviews make it possible for new listeners to find the show and connect with the aromatherapist that meets their needs. You can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or at buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat. I will see you next time with our next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.